The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com
We were on the break!
with Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to Cowboys Break. I'm Amber Garcia. Derek is not here today, but we have Nick Eatman and David Hellman.
He leads the
here
league in
studio.
absences for the guy that runs the whole thing, you know? That's all I'm saying.
He's in
Maybe
a
that's
position
why.
where he can do whatever he wants.
It's a wonderful.
Maybe that's
it's a wonderful point. When you don't have to ask for permission to miss,
Yeah.
I guess you can miss.
I took it a different way. I took it because he's running the things that maybe he's got, you know.
Oh, he's got. I mean, yeah, I'm sure the things he's doing demand a lot of.
I bet you he
attention.
doesn't keep track of that. Now he keeps track of how many years, how many episodes, how many
Right.
seasons, but like absences, no, we don't do that. It's okay.
No. Well, he's not on vacation yet. He's taking care of some
he is
business
working.
with the
Probably
league.
watching.
Yes.
Hi.
Hey, Derek. Hola. Well, before we start talking about everything that we have to talk about on this show, there's something I need to address because I've never seen Dave wear such a bright color before, so I might need some sunglasses here. He's wearing some bright chicken yellow.
Look, school spirit is great and fun and wonderful.
School bus.
But it'll get you, school bus. It'll get you in trouble sometimes. LSU played Southern Miss in the college baseball playoffs this weekend, and one of our wonderful PR guys, Joe Trahan, went to Southern Miss. It was only natural that we do a T-shirt bet. I guess I'm actually wearing a polo, but they beat us. They kind of, I mean, the games were close, but like Southern Miss was way better than LSU. They handed it to us.
They've got their colors schemes are black and gold. I mean, sure, there's a lot
Right.
of black.
Literally,
shirts, but
so
no,
yeah.
no.
If you're not watching, it's just like the most neon yellow polo. He brought it over to my office this morning, and I was like, you couldn't have given me a black shirt with like a gold logo? No, it's all yellow.
What's the fun in that?
Which I was joking before the show, like,
if y'all had won,
that's what I was about to say. Is like LSU's color scheme is obnoxious. Like, you're going to be wearing gold or purple. I'm not going to let you wear a white shirt.
no,
so,
you got to wear the purple.
Yeah, purple.
Yeah.
I'll probably.
Make him wear the broadest jersey.
Yeah,
broadest.
I still do. I got my broadest Sugar Bowl jersey. I mean, it's a moot point now
That
because we
would've been
lost. But yeah, so I have to wear this all day.
I swear, I don't know how many sports are like this, but like, well, I guess every Olympic sport really, but when you get to the end, where like everyone gets excited about college baseball, and then during the year it's like, not even sure. I mean, you follow it. I kind of follow my team, but for the most part, college baseball just like jumps onto the scene, and it's like, oh.
But the funny thing is, I would say, unless you care, there's 25 schools that care. It's like the SEC, really.
ACC.
I noticed this a long time ago. Like, it follows the coast. Like, it's the California and Arizona schools, the Southern schools, and then, some of the schools in ACC country. Nobody else gives a damn. And I was at my favorite sports bar watching the games over the weekend. And even, like, with all these games on and stuff, like, half the people in the bar were like, what's this guy freaking out about? Like, oh, that dumb baseball game that's over in the corner TV that nobody's paying
That
attention
you
to.
had to ask the bartender.
That I had to ask the bartender to put on. Yeah, so even in the middle of the tournament, not very many people care. But it's a lot of fun.
Well, since we are talking about baseball, let's just go ahead and discuss what happened last night with the home run derby that the
Nice.
Cowboys do.
That's a quality
every
segue
time.
right
that's
there.
good.
That's good hosting right
That's
there.
good.
It happened last night. This is something that the Cowboys do every year to donate some money. And, they had a lot of fun. I saw a lot of smiles going around. It's always a fun event for the Cowboys and the players. And just wanted to talk about some of the things that came out of that. The players do talk to the media. So what would be...
Well, before any of the players talking to the media, the same thing that happened last year during the season happened there. I mean, Micah Parsons is better than everyone else, and it doesn't matter what you're doing, and he's going to do whatever it takes to beat you. Okay, not only did Micah Parsons, this is the Reliant Home Run Derby. All the money goes to Salvation Army. They raised $81,000.
Yes. $81 grand. And then I think the media had their own, and they raised.
Kyle Yeomans was swinging.
Kyle Yeomans raised some money, man. That guy was mashing.
Kyle just stopped me before I got down here to tell me that he should have. His check should have been higher. They cheated him out on.
Sure, of course he did.
Whatever. Anyways, and I believe him because he was hitting.
I will say, he hyped himself up as a nice hitter, and I got no complaints. I was like, oh yeah, you're good at this.
Yeah, he
Good
was.
for you.
He did a nice job. He just used the regular bats that were provided, and all the other hitters except Micah did that. Micah took a few swings and said, "This is not going to work." He sends a guy down to Dick's Sporting Goods. I hope they're a sponsor, and buys a $500 bat. Comes back, and then as they're introducing the players, you saw this. They're introducing the players. Here's Jordan Lewis. Here's Anthony Brown and Micah Parsons. Micah's in the cage swinging, taking more reps. And so we're like,
and literally, my favorite part of that was, Kyle does this for a living. He does play-by-play. He knows how to work on a microphone. And, he had 13 sacks last season, and he was the rookie of the year. Introducing him, very showman-y. And, Micah starts to leave the cage to wave to the crowd. And then, you saw, he had a moment where he was like, oh, I've got, 6 more seconds before he's done introducing me. He went back in the cage, took another swing, and then came out and said hi to everybody.
So just so everyone knows, there's I don't know how where's the fence they brought in 275 yards something or feet. I mean
middle of the outfield.
Yeah.
So
that's the home run. Of course, this is a minor league park, and it's
250 feet, something like that, probably.
So Micah actually hit 2 regular home runs, and one of them went out of the stadium, went out of the entire park. To say he knocked it out of the park, he literally did.
I tweeted that. I was like, he hit it out of the park. I'm not talking about the playing field. He hit it out of the baseball stadium. So it's Rough Riders Stadium here in Frisco. It's a minor league park. The left field wall is 364 feet, and then there's a berm with a concourse behind it, and then the gate that leads to the street is probably it's probably 50 feet behind the wall, right? So he hits it over the wall, and what it did was it skipped on the concrete concourse and bounced over the fence. I couldn't believe it. How many Rough Riders players have ever done that? I don't know. Maybe it happens every week, but
I've seen it.
Either way, he's freaking amazing. And as far as I know, he has not played baseball before.
No,
he said he played in high school. He said he quit playing baseball to run track.
Oh, so oh my god.
He's like, I quit playing baseball so I could run track, and then was good enough at football to be a top 12
either way, it's something that he doesn't practice at all.
Except for a few hours beforehand. And
he's so
not only did he hit the home run, and only Micah could do that. Micah ran the bases. He ran the bases. He tried to run it again, then Dak stopped him. Dak and I love the fact that Dak and Parsons have a little, back and forth. Dak and Diggs also, you see that at practice some too.
I think it's the whole team. Yeah. But no, for sure.
It's a healthy thing. But they raised a lot of money. Micah actually didn't win the event. The scoring is a little different. Leighton Vander Esch actually won the event. I think he singled his way to the home run derby champion.
I think they goosed the numbers so Micah wouldn't be the champion technically. I mean, if he hit the most home runs, he should win. But I guess Leighton raised more money.
It's about raising money and all that. But the competitive nature of Micah Parsons is kind of what comes out of this. He has to win. He had to do that. There was no doubt about it. He was going to get the right bat. He was going to get enough swings. Enough practice. He was going to win. Hopefully, what does this all mean? Hopefully, he's the type of guy that's like, we have to win.
So no sophomore slump.
I think Ray Lewis was like that. I mean, that's what I think. I think he, he from that position, you just have to win.
It's so rare. I've been here long enough now. I feel like I keep getting older and older, but it's been long enough for me to see enough players come through and see how they develop and see the trends that tend to happen with rookies and all that. But since the time I've been here, for sure, I have not seen any other player with the amount of talent that he has. Not even when Dak and Z came for the first time in their rookie year and they had that combo going on and all that. It's just what he has is so unusual.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Very, very impressive. But other than that, the media did speak to the players and all that. Was there anything that was highlighting that came out of that you guys were like, huh?
I don't know. Did anything like noteworthy come out? That's just from a reporter's perspective. Like, that event is so strange because the 8 guys participate, or maybe it's even 10, and they bring them over to talk to us in between at bats. So you get maybe 3 minutes maximum to talk to all these guys. I mean, I guess yesterday was the first time Trayvon's talked in a while.
Yeah, and I thought there may be something there to, did we even...
He talked about following up an 11 interception season, but not with any sort of amazing sound bites.
Yeah.
I think it is funny to note, and I don't think anybody should be surprised, but I think the whole conversation about Trayvon, are you good because you get picks, or are you bad because you give up play? Like, that whole narrative, you can tell it aggravates him.
Yeah.
He was asked a question about, you get picks but you take chances, and he was like, "What chances? What are you talking about? I play football. I don't take chances."
Yeah.
Like you can tell that whole narrative drives him crazy. But he didn't really give a great soundbite about it. But that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, those corners, Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, Trayvon Diggs, they were all talking about just, that second year with Dan Quinn and just being more consistent. I think big plays, yards after the catch was the one thing that they're really going to try to focus on, which that comes down to making the tackle. Or don't give up the pass in the first place, but, the yards after the catch. I mean, rally to the ball, get there. I don't know. I kind of got the sense Leighton Vander Esch is in. He hadn't really talked to the media much,
True.
but I feel like, I don't know. It's hard to put your finger on it. He's heard all this stuff. He's been humbled. He has to have been. He thought he was going to sign an $8 million a year deal when free agency started. And he
looked in a better mood than what I've seen him lately.
There's something different, and I don't know if
he seemed like he was in a good place. He didn't seem, I mean, you can't read too much into somebody's entire life by what they say at 3 minutes at a charity event, but like he seemed like he was in a good mood, which, like,
for us,
he's kind of a salty interview.
If he gives Christmas cards to anyone, it's not.
Yeah, like he usually is not very happy to see us.
Doesn't like him. Doesn't like us.
So I mean,
I don't think he hates us. He's it's one of those things.
Yeah, but he was in a good mood last night. I don't know what that means, but
about to swing and win this home run derby.
Won the home run derby.
Basically stole it.
I guess Dak did talk about. The other news of the week. Dak talked about Dalton Schultz not being here, but exactly what you would expect. Like, this is the business element of things. Dak said he knew Dalton wasn't going to be here. No big deal. These sorts of things happen.
One thing I've learned about Dak in his interviews is look at the last thing he says. It's always it seems like the last thing that comes out of his mouth is the
truth.
Well, of
the closest to being the truth.
That or just like the best part of the quote.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just talking about it. He's been there, he gets it, and we talk all the time and all that. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna handle it. We're gonna get this thing figured out. And they got him scouting players and talking to players before the draft. I mean, maybe he's over there working contract, which I'm sure they can go up to him and say, you want us to really handle this, Dak? You can actually shave off some of that $40 million a year, and you can help pay for it. They'd be like, oh, well, that's your problem.
Which, in reference, for those who might not know, although if you listen to this show, you definitely know what's going on. But Dalton Schultz is basically holding out for right now, not showing up for these voluntary practices, which are OTAs, and in wants of a new contract for which again we talked about it off the break upstairs and all that. It's just like, do you really have any kind of upper hand here whatsoever? No. And we know the Cowboys tend to, for the most part, they tend to always take their time. Take things like, you're not pressuring the Cowboys whatsoever. They're going to do what they're going to do.
Here's what's happening with Dalton Schultz. and I've thought about this in my own life. It's a good analogy. I don't know how much either of y'all will relate to it, but because I mean, you just had a kid, you're married, but it
I have kids,
and you have kids too. No, but it's a relationship thing. That's why I say that. But it reminds me of like when you're dating, and you make yourself like way too available. And you're just like, you text back immediately, like every time. And the other person is like, maybe they don't. Like maybe they leave you on red for like 12 hours or whatever. And Dalton Schultz is like, screw you guys. Like I'm not answering you. I'm gonna leave you on red for a couple days and see how you like the return treatment. That's what's happening. The problem is, there's like, unless the Cowboys just want to sign him to a new deal, they don't have to care. That's the problem. He signed the tag, so he doesn't have any true leverage. But I think he's just saying like, hey, I don't have to answer your texts every time. Like I don't have to, and I'm not going to right now.
Okay, we got this other chicks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
these other chicks are going to take advantage of the field, even though they're not at the same level.
Like I said, he doesn't have any true leverage, but I just think Dalton Schultz is saying, hey, over here, I would like for you to at least offer me a contract. Like, I would like for you to at least act as if you want me here. That would be nice. And I don't think that's been happening, and I think that's what he's doing.
So next week, minicamp will be, that's mandatory. You have to be
They
here.
will fine him like $100,000 if he's not here. Like, I would be shocked if Deebo Samuel's going to Niners camp. There's no way Dalton Schultz isn't going to be here for that. And he's not going to hold out of training camp. I kind of bristled when you said hold out because there's no way he'll hold out. It's $50,000 a day to hold out under the new CBA. There's no way, especially, and Dalton's a 4th-round pick who, he's guaranteed this franchise tag money, but that's still like giving up $50,000 a day. I mean, that's starting to be hundreds of thousands of dollars if you miss all of camp. And then just to hypothetically say he misses a game, that's like $600,000. Like he ain't doing that.
Yeah, that's when you start. I've always been told the holdout really doesn't start until you start missing game checks. The thing about the fines for training camp, and I don't know if this is just one team or one coach, or I don't know if the Cowboys do this a lot. But a lot of times you find someone for missing camp or OTA or mini camp or whatever, and then when the deal comes out, like, all right, you coming in tonight? We're gonna get this thing done. All right, how much is this fines? Like, can we just squash it? He'll be there tonight. He'll be, and sometimes those fines do just go away.
I don't think they can anymore. Like
that's a CBA thing?
The owners like really came down on this. I'm almost positive the new CBA rules stipulate that like holdout fines can't be forgiven anymore.
Okay.
I need to double check that, but I'm like 99% sure. Like the new CBA killed holdouts unless you are the type of player that can afford to lose that type of money. Yeah. Like, if for some reason Dak wanted to hold out, he could, but somebody like Dalton Schultz can't.
Well, and let's talk even further about this. In the last week or so, there has been another tight end contract that's happened.
Yeah.
And I'll let you say his name because this one that I always butcher.
David Njoku.
From where? Cleveland?
He's with the Browns.
So 14 a year?
Ish, yeah.
I mean, but it's one of those deals where it doesn't. It won't be. It'll probably be a 2-year deal.
Right.
They can get out of it. So.
And over the last 2 years, David Njoku was a first-round pick out of Miami. He's an incredibly athletic guy. He's like the classic case of the, like Evan Ingram, like the enticing athletic downfield threat. Has not really materialized. He's been all right. I don't think he's been worth where he was drafted. Dalton Schultz has accomplished more than him the last 2 years. So I'm sure he and his people are like, well, if Njoku's getting $28 million guaranteed, where's the love? Like, come on. And so, I mean, this really and truly completely comes down to the Cowboys. Like, if they want to sign Schultz, and I bet you they wouldn't they wouldn't sign him to the top of the market. But if they want to sign him to a deal like that, they can. And if they want to say, no, show up for training camp, we don't care. That they can do that too. And Dalton doesn't have a whole lot of wiggle room. I just think he's sort of saying it's sort of like a silent protest. Like, I don't have to do my chores if I don't want to, Mom and Dad. I know you will take my car away, but I'm not going to do it. Like, it's just one of those things.
That's what I was going to ask you, Nick. Other than Dave's analogy of dating and all that.
That was a good one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like, if I did that to a girl, she'd be like, cool, there's like 18 other guys, bro. I don't care. I don't care if you don't text me back.
Well, other than that, and us all agreeing that he's basically going to show up next week in a training camp and everything like that, is there any other kind of explanation? Because when you put it all and lay it all out on the table, really the Cowboys, like, that doesn't create any pressure on the Cowboys whatsoever, and they're going to do what they're going to do. But do you find any other type of meaning or reason as to why it's even beneficial for him to think that he should not be here this week?
I think if you get told, over and over or by your agent, this is an agent-driven thing. This is the agent wants this done. And it's the agent's job to get him the most money. And so I agree with what Dave said. I didn't go so far with the whole analogy, but the whole part about I'm over here, I'm not going to make this easy for you. If you're going to punch me in the face, I'm not going to give you the glove, to punch me. I mean, just I'm not going to help you. You're going to do what you're going to do. And I think, it doesn't hurt the Cowboys, though. Okay, so Jake Ferguson gets more snaps with the ones. I mean, that's what we wanted to see if he could do anyways. So I don't think it's really he'll be back when he has to be. It's just one of those deals. They're gonna talk this through. I think they want to get a deal done, but they've never been. Real quick, the Cowboys have never really been intimidated by the one team, and it's usually the Raiders. But it's the one team that throws out there and sets a market and says this is what tight ends are worth. When they're like, no, I'm sorry. I mean, the Browns. You want to pay Njoku that, fine, but that's not what we feel like is the market, and we're not going to just be pressured into say, well, looks like we have to be better than that because they don't right now.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah, it completely comes down to what the Cowboys want to do. And I said it when I heard that he was missing this week. I said it on Twitter. It's like, I'm A-okay with Dalton getting a deal like Njoku's. Like, I don't think Dalton Schultz should set the tight end market. But if the Cowboys, he's a high character guy. He is a valuable target for Dak. Dak loves him. The numbers speak for themselves over the last 2 years in terms of like. And I mean, if you want to call him a safety blanket, that's fine. But like, that's a valuable thing. I mean, that's what Jason Witten was for half of his career.
It's funny you said that about Witten. This is a line that I said probably 12 or 13 years ago when Witten was trying to get his first deal. He was 20 years old when he got here, and it was like, well, he's 24 years old and he's made 3 Pro Bowls. And I'm like, well, you better sign him now, because next year he's going to be 25-year-old with 4 Pro Bowls. And so the Cowboys have to be careful because who else is going to play receiver for this team?
Yeah.
I mean, Schultz is going to probably get 80 catches. So now he's going to have 3 straight years of 65 plus.
I'll tell you right now,
money could even be higher than that.
As long as he stays healthy, knock on wood for him, like his market's going to be. I mean, he would have signed a $14 million a year deal in the spring if they hadn't tagged him. No doubt in my mind. So, yeah, and that like if you can get him to a deal that puts him in the top 5. The David Njoku deal is perfect because, again, it's like a 2-year deal. You're basically saying we'll pay you $14 million for 2 years instead of $11 for 1. What's wrong with that?
You're right.
That sounds great to me. And then it gives you time to see what you have in Jake Ferguson. They've got the space. The Lyle Collins money kicked in. I don't think that would be a big deal. And I think it just comes down to what they want to do because they don't have to. They don't. I mean, that's the bottom line. I think it's interesting, though. And I do, to go back to your point, too, is like, I think Dalton already kind of showed his hand as far as what he's about when you think about the fact that, like, he signed the tag immediately. He's been here through the rest of this. He was talking to me last week about how he called Ferguson immediately to tell him what to expect and what's going on. Like, this, he's not trying to be a jerk. He's just he's doing the bare minimum in terms of like trying to get his contract. That's basically it. Like, I bet
you think Witten called him?
No. All due respect to Jason Witten, but no. Well, actually, Witten wasn't even on the team. That's a weird thing to think about.
That's true. Witten wasn't.
I wrote a story about this last week, and I was like, oh yeah, Witten wasn't here when Schultz showed up because he took that year off. So no, I definitely don't think Witten called
Schultz, Jarwin, and Swain.
Yeah, like it was so funny because he's like, there was a standard when I came in here. Jeff Swaim set the standard, Blake Jarwin set, and I was like,
No.
that sounds weird.
No, Montel. They didn't. This
Right.
is not how we do it.
I was like,
Jeff
I think
Swaim.
the standard was somebody else, but I guess he wasn't here that year.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, let's go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, I don't think we've had. I keep losing track of when things happen when we only have one show a week. But I think we have to talk about last week's practice and some of the things that did highlight that practice after this break.
At AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. For turning your living room into your office and your gym. For teaching Grandma how to video call and teaching her again.
It's the button on your left, Nana. Okay, your other left.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
Back to the break.
Whether you're watching from home, cheering from the stands, Essler Lenses lets you see every exciting play. Book an appointment at your local Essler experts and find the perfect Essler lens for you. See more, do more. Essler, and just a reminder, this second segment is brought to you by blockchain.com.
Welcome back to the break. Let's go ahead and talk about last week's practice and some of the things, if you guys remember, because it's been a while.
I love the off-season schedule because it's less of a time commitment, but I'm also like,
happened?
not only what happened, but it's like, well, can't we just talk about tomorrow's practice tomorrow? But that'll have to wait until.
Yeah, we'll wait till then.
We can talk about the tight ends that will be there.
Yeah. I'll have a close eye on 48 and 49 tomorrow. I'll tell you that.
You know what? It happens with other positions. Sometimes it happens with like a backup guard or a second running back. And I think the second tight end is going to be set here. And I think the other tight ends. I mean, I just think Sprinkle's going to be the second guy because he does more than what McEwen. Unless Ferguson can show that he's a much better blocker. But I just think that what Sprinkle provides as a blocker is going to keep him there. And then the other pass catchers are going to be like the first one and the third one. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was I was disagreeing with you, but when you said that, I
Schultz
agree.
is for last week.
Schultz is one. Sprinkle is
two.
the blocking guy, and then
Schultz is out, and Sprinkle's gonna stay number 2, and it'll be Ferguson or McEwen.
Yeah.
That's what I think will happen.
I think that makes a lot of sense because, I mean, I know he caught 2 touchdowns in an OTA the other day, but, like, Sprinkle's not.
22 guys scored last year, and he couldn't get one.
Sprinkle's
He get one of them.
He couldn't have had more than 2 catches last year if he even had any.
He caught him at Arkansas.
Hey,
he was pretty good.
Woo pig, baby.
Right. I didn't mention that when the baseball, but I mean,
the whole SEC except for LSU is basically in the super regionals. So
yeah, I got a little bit of flack from the tweet that I said of, like, I'm okay with these Cowboys losing in the playoffs. But I mean, true.
Too soon.
What's wrong with that? Not really.
No,
too soon. It's been 20 years, 7 years.
Oh, well, I was thinking like since January, but yeah.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of playoff losses by the Cowboys.
Well, I just went back to the notes from last week just to have a quick reminder. And I think that the only thing that really stood out from the whole practice was Tyler Smith and what he did compared to the previous week, which he was with the second team, getting some reps in there. And this time around, he got more work, and he was both at left tackle, left guard, getting in some mix in there.
They started cross-training him last week. And that, I mean...
You and I saw the play. I would think only 5 or 6 people in all that they were watching
Micah?
saw the play.
I don't want to...
Because no one else was talking about it, I don't think.
No, but I saw it. And I don't want to get too hyped in the offseason, but they put Tyler Smith. Last week was his first week at tackle. They only worked him at guard at the rookie camp in the first week or two. Last week they put him at tackle. He played first team. They had him. He played a little bit of first team guard next to Tyron, and then he would flop with Tyron on the first team left tackle reps. And they lined Micah up against him it wasn't one-on-one, but it was an isolated opportunity. Stonewalled him. Micah he took a wide corner and came around and put his body into it, and Tyler was just like, nope, you're going to sit right here.
It ain't happening.
You're going to stay right here. You're not going to move any further. And that's it wasn't he didn't ride him out of the pocket. He didn't just sort of get in the way. He just, just stopped him.
And the best part is the very next play, Tyron came in and just bumped him down to guard. Now he's at guard, and he's and they tried to do some kind of inside rush, and it wasn't anything spectacular. I mean, nobody got by him, but I mean, it wasn't really a big blitz or anything like that. But it just shows, hey, you're going up against the best the Cowboys have right here. Now you're moving positions and you're sliding here. I mean, his head's got to be spinning, but it seems like he's handling it.
Is it a good thing to have him doing those kind of switching back and forth, or should they just pin him down? Okay, you're going to be a guard.
Tyron Smith was supposed to hit last night. He was one of the hitters at the home run derby, and he did not do that. I don't know why. Back tightness. If somebody just said that's a good idea.
Or maybe just you've been dealing with back tightness.
Right.
Why aggravate it?
All I'm saying is, I think it's good in this case because your left tackle, you just can't count on. It's not an if he gets hurt. It's just when for how long.
Especially, too, I think this gets lost a lot. We're not practicing for the season right now. That's not what they're doing. They're installing the offense. This is the time that Tyler Smith should be doing this. It's hey, these are our slides. These are our schemes. These are our protections. Yes, I think he should be doing this, especially right now. 2 weeks before the season starts, maybe focus on what we want you to play. But here, now, when we're installing the offense and what we want all of our players to understand, yes, I think he should be doing as much as he can handle. And it seems like he can handle a lot based on what we've seen so far.
What's next on the docket here? Because I've got I could go story time.
Nick is I could nuke this segment if you want me to.
Yeah, I could take it, and it might steal from your 3. But
go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to tell the second part of that Micah story, which takes me to another thing. But after that play, Micah went to the left side.
See, I didn't see this, but you did.
Micah went to the other side. This is 2 plays later, and Terrence Steele, he had him going one way. He went back in. He basically threw Terrence Steele to the ground with one hand, like Reggie White did to Larry Allen back in the day. I mean, just got him kind of rocking, went the other way, threw him down. You could tell. I mean, he was just not happy about it. And so, hey, if you can't work over here, go over here and throw Terrence Steele around. Now, I don't want fans to be saying, all right, got it. So now Tyler needs to be playing right tackle since, no, Terrence Steele will be fine. But Micah Parsons, when you get pissed off, you can, do some different things. That takes me back to another story, 2008. So this is a while ago. But in the last week, we obviously have lost another player from the Cowboys family here in Marion Barber.
Sure.
And I know that a lot of fans loved him. They did. I mean, just the way he played and just the name, the dreads, it was just the way it was so awesome to watch. There was a practice in 2008. Hard Knocks was in it. And Chris Beam, he might remember this. He might have even shot it. But there was a blocking drill, and I think the guy's name was Terrian George or some linebacker. They did this drill. It was running backs were supposed to go up and block. This guy made a move and Barber whiffed. and they got to the quarterback, and every defensive player was yelling and screaming and all that. And it was like, oh, my God. And this is big, bad Marion, who just made the Pro Bowl the year before. This is not supposed to happen. Marion just very quietly was like, run it again. Guy runs it again. Marion gets his head right up under the chin. Terry and George went to sleep for about 45 minutes. I mean, got him so good, knocked him to the ground on the block. It's like, all right, well, you didn't beat me that time. Chris, do you remember this play at all, or do you remember that?
I think I remember a little bit about it.
Yeah,
but I'm not.
It was just kind of like, oh, they got Marion, and Marion was like, oh, watch this, and when that play happened, that it was weird because that happened on Thursday.
Yeah,
and then and I was thinking back to that reminded me of Marion, and Marion had just passed the night before tragically, and with Marion. This is really sad, but I don't think it was a major surprise, even though that's really sad to say at the age of 38. But I know his life wasn't. He was going downhill, and his teammates were worried about him. So it's it's hard to celebrate and say how awesome he was as a runner and all that stuff because maybe some of that stuff led to where he was. So it's hard to just. But he was He was a fun player to watch, and he has the greatest 2-yard run in the history of the Cowboys. Which Chris Beam, I know you got a good shot there with it. Yeah. It's supposed to be a safety. He just kept going out.
I've watched that play more times than I can count. It's funny. I've talked about this before, but like it's funny to think about things like from my life, like before I was a Cowboys writer, and I remember Marion Barber as a Cowboys player. And I remember that he was good. But for me, I think about Minnesota because him and Lawrence Maroney were in the same backfield.
Oh, yeah.
Unstoppable. Like, Minnesota was a force in the Big Ten, which is a weird thing to say. Like, and they literally just handed the ball off, like, every snap. Like, that's how good those two guys were.
I like Bill Parcells was quoted, and Romo said something similar, too. He was almost a perfect player, which is hard to imagine that. Especially a guy who goes in the 4th round.
Also,
but he could run, block, catch. He did everything. He had no interest in talking to the media.
Yeah.
No interest at all. Another funny story. I don't remember her name, but there was a girl. She spoke Spanish. I don't even know if she spoke English. And she'd always show up at media days. I forgot her name, but she was like, there for the looks and all that, and go to get the interview. And they brought her in to talk to Marion because Marion wasn't going to talk to any reporters, but they're like, we'll get Marion to talk. And so the PR sets it up. This is outside the locker room, and Marion was like, no, I'm not doing an interview. They're like, no, it's with her. And he was like, yeah, I'm not doing the interview. Thank you. I'm like, nah, good try. So
you know what?
Even he stuck to his guns. Even they brought in the heavy hitters, and it didn't work out.
I respect the consistency.
Yeah,
I respect it. I was going to say, Bill Parcells is the dictionary definition of like the hard ass coach who doesn't have anything good to say about anybody. So that's especially high praise.
Yes, Yeah. So.
It's very cool. I obviously did not know anything about him prior to this. I've heard about him, not really seen the way he played or anything. So the sad news brought up obviously a lot of highlights and a lot of things from his career. And as someone new with fresh eyes looking at a player that I've never seen before, I was very impressed and was like, wow, okay, no wonder why so many people were very, very fans of him, including people in Mexico. You guys know I cover all the Spanish stuff, but it was surprising to see how much love he also was getting from everyone in Mexico and how many fans and people actually kept up with his career.
I bet you, that doesn't surprise me at all. That he was a fan favorite for everyone, but I can definitely see that, just somebody that's just a hard worker, and because that's what he was. He was one of those lunch pail guys. You did not hear a lot of talking. He didn't do that. He didn't enjoy that.
Well, there's
that
just
part.
Something to be said too for like. what's the old Brian Broaddus quote? Like, here we go, run it right up your rear. Like, I mean, everybody loves that guy. You're like 3rd and 1, we're getting it. I'm not even worried about it. We got it.
Can't
Everybody
stop,
loves that guy.
Just stick it right up your rear.
There we
Here
go.
we go.
Right. Thank you, Brian.
No, and unfortunately, this has been a crazy summer where this stuff has happened a lot. Whether it be Gary Brown, the former running backs coach, and Larry Lacewell, and Miss Marilyn, Jerry's assistant, and Rayfield Wright, and I apologize if I. Oh well, you know what started it all, and Dan Reeves passed away on January the 1st.
That's right.
And I still talk to his son-in-law, Joe DiCamillo. He's with the Rams. We still talk, and I said, he died on January 1st, 2022. Like, we should have known this was going to happen. This year was going to be like that. So there's been a lot of those.
I knew it had been a bad year, but like when you lay it all out like that, it's hard to believe. Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to transition from this conversation into something else, but kind of have to.
Do it.
And I don't want to make this whole show about Micah Parsons either, but there was a cool quote that he had this past week, and it was in reference to Demarcus Lawrence and the comments that he had made about sacks and the record and all that. And Micah basically came out saying, yeah, I mean, he can do his thing and do all that and let him be him, but if he gets 10 sacks, that's because I got 20 sacks.
20, yeah.
So a little very nice competition back and forth there, which is something you love to see. You love to see in this kind of game in the team. But I just wanted to talk a little bit, not necessarily about Micah Parsons, but Demarcus Lawrence. And I've seen some comments here on Twitter in regards to him and kind of what he's looking like or what could happen with him this year as far as, how much productivity and how much impact can he make this year?
It's fun to think that, and obviously, I mean, there's a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, but like this is the first time in my time covering the team where it feels like the balance of badass talent is flipping over to the defense.
Yeah.
Like it was. I mean, so I got here in 2013, so like I missed those much more complete defenses where you had like Ware and Spencer and Ratliff and I missed those guys. So I got here and I had like 1 year of DeMarcus Ware and 10 slappies. And then I mean George Selvey, and
he was the best of that group,
right? And then I mean it's easy to forget like Demarcus Lawrence had a slow start to his career, so then it was Sean Lee and 10 slappies if Sean Lee was healthy. Then Demarcus Lawrence.
Sorry, Barry Church.
Sorry, Barry. You know I love you. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean Barry Church was a good player. Orlando Scandrick was a good player, but not all pros.
Yeah.
And so then it was Demarcus Lawrence and sort of a middling amount of talent. And now Demarcus Lawrence, you could argue that he's the 3rd best player on the defense.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
It is.
And so it's fun to think about.
You've got a guy that made an All-Pro 3 years ago that's not, you wouldn't even say he's in the top 5 of their defense, and that's Leighton Vander Esch.
Yeah.
Didn't
even think about that.
And he's got he's trying to turn things around too, but Jaron Kearse, he's battling for that top 5 spot.
It's way easier for me to sell myself on being excited about the defense than the offense right now.
Oh, for sure.
And Tank missed so much last year, and like he played one game with Micah, but Micah wasn't anything like he is now in that first game against Tampa. Hopefully that's what Tom Brady thinks. It's like, oh, that Parsons is if he goes on that tape, but
right.
he knows that that's a different player. And then DeMarcus missed so much time after that, and they came back, and it was pretty good. But I think a healthy Tank and Parsons even being more versatile and doing so many things, that could be something that we haven't seen yet. I'm excited about that.
I mean, I love Tank. I will continue to defend him. He's a way better player than a lot of people want to give him credit for. But he's up against it. If you're trying to compete with this guy, and it's not just because he's a freak, but Demarcus Lawrence plays left end. Like he's got to do a lot of that dirty work. He's good at it. You can double team him. He does move around a little bit, but he's not Micah Parsons. I mean, like literally the whole point of Micah Parsons is that Dan Quinn is going to scheme him to take advantage of the mismatch.
Right.
And so good luck competing with that, because it's like, well, we need you over here because you're on the strong side of the formation. They're probably going to try to run this way. Tight end's going to chip you. Maybe you can get to the quarterback. And with Micah, it's like, we're going to blitz you through the A-gap this time. Or we're going to bring you over here because who was the tackle he abused against the Chargers? Storm Norton. This guy sucks, so go over here. And D-Law, you can deal with the actually good tackle. Like, that's the type of stuff that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's
you're not going to win. Yeah, you're not going to win the sack total by doing that.
It's a good problem to have for the Cowboys. I'll take Micah to win that competition every time, with all due respect.
And either way, we've seen at practice how Micah is currently practicing with both positions, linebackers and also defensive ends. So he's getting both sides.
And I think the reason why Leighton won the home run derby, Micah, it looked like real BP. Like he was just bombing away and working up a sweat. He trotted around the bases, and then by they do 3 rounds. By the second round, I was like, oh, he's gassed. Yeah. He wore himself out. So there were a lot more pop-ups and hitting the cage, whereas Leighton's like Jason Garrett, just lacing singles all day long, not overexerting himself.
What happened in the media game? Kyle was bombing him away early too, and then then the guy that won just was steady Eddie and just.
I don't care.
The home run derby is supposed to be hitting the way back there.
Give me the 5. If I can, you're you can hit one 500-foot bomb or 12 decent. Give me the bomb. Give me the one. We'll be talking about him.
That's what we're talking about.
One of my personal hero, my favorite baseball player ever is Ken Griffey Jr. He the triple against the Yankees, he scores from first to advance in the ALDS. Way more than any of that stuff, way more than any of the real home runs he hit. People remember when he hit the warehouse in the home run derby.
Yeah.
And at Camden Yards. He hit the freaking warehouse, and that's what people remember.
And they also remember that, he took his hat backwards.
Well, that's,
It was oh, what's wrong with disrespecting the games? This is how he wore his hat.
Coolest baseball player ever.
Yeah. Ken Griffey Jr. He was pretty awesome. If he had that upper deck rookie card, I had a couple, but I don't have them anymore. I wish I did.
That's devastating.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, let's go ahead and take our final break. When we come back, I've been seeing a couple of questions in regards to can there be any more players added to this roster to help the Cowboys this year?
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with...
And I'm Jay Novacek, and we're both with...
United Ag and Turf, the official tractor provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
So, if you need a tractor to bale some hay, a mower to cut some grass, or a gator to get some chores done...
Get a John Deere at United Ag and Turf.
And then, let's get to work.
Hey, Jay, that's my line.
Well, not today.
Get to work with a John Deere tractor package that's just right for you and your budget. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
At AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. For turning your living room into your office and your gym. For teaching Grandma how to video call and teaching her again.
It's the button on your left, Nana. Okay, your other left.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar and a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. and a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Back to the break.
Registration is open for Dallas Cowboys Youth Academy camps presented by Invisalign. I don't know why that word always messes me up. Invisalign. Let's try that again. Registration is open for Dallas Cowboys Youth Academy camps presented by Invisalign. Don't miss the chance to learn from former Dallas Cowboys players such as Danny McCray.
Daniel.
And current Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders such as... I'm just kidding.
Okay, I definitely don't know that.
Visit DallasCowboys.com/academy to learn more and to secure your spot today in the youth camps. Invisalign.
Danny does have a wonderful smile. Just lights up a room for anybody that was curious.
He's a survivor.
True.
All right, well, free agency and this thing that people keep asking about me. I keep waiting for I was waiting for some kind of splash, but my ankle never even got a drop of water on them. Like, I got no water touching my feet at all from free agency. That was terrible, but whatever. But yeah, the question is there anybody? Can the Cowboys bring somebody else to come in here?
What are we typing in here? Free agent names.
I'm going to the database, but I'm going to ask my favorite question, and it's important. But can or will? Can they or will they? Because those are two different. Of course they can.
Yeah, there's always a can.
Of course they can.
Will they?
You know, go ahead.
I just don't. I agree with you. I don't think that they have the interest to do that. I don't think that they're seeing the issues right now. And even if they see it, I think that this is the time where you want to see if just give me a position like receiver. They're all working on the side over here. Jalen Tolbert's not even practicing all the way. He might this week. But
I think Dak said last night that he's back.
Okay. So he'll be back, but Gallup isn't. I don't think James Washington will be. So do you go get a wide receiver, or do you say, let's just see if we're ever going to see if Simi Fehoko and T.J. Basher and Noah Brown, who's also missed some time, if they're going to do it, let's do it right now. And then these veterans will still be there. It may not be the veteran that's the top of the list right now because they're getting signed, but then there'll be other guys cut. I just think that they're going to say, let's figure out what we have here and don't have progress stoppers. And if we really need to go get them, then we'll go get it.
Which that's the timing is everything too. And I think it's what I was talking about earlier. Like, you're installing the scheme right now. Like, you are trying to get everybody up to speed with what you're going to ask them to do at training camp. So you're teaching guys, you're giving them reps. To answer the question more directly, they're not going to bring somebody in right now. Mm-hmm. There's 4 practices left out of 8 or however many it is, 8 or 9. They're more than halfway through this process. They're just like, again, we're trying to teach this stuff to guys. Like, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. You're not really going to be like, we don't. And if you're a super established vet, I'll just use the name Julio Jones just as an example. Like, Julio Jones doesn't need to come in here for 4 off-season practices. If you were going to do that, you could do it in July. And we've actually, the name I keep thinking about this when we talk about it is they signed Malik Hooker like 2 days after we got to camp.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've shown a willingness to do that, and so I think you evaluate these guys, you see how they practice. You see how much you trust their knowledge of what you're asking them to do. Then if you don't feel good about it, you can go do something.
So let's say we're headed to camp already. And
do I think they will sign a guy between now and when the team lands in Oxnard?
God, what were you going to say? They're headed to camp?
I was going to say, let's say we're headed to camp, and regardless of what they might do or whatever, you guys' personal opinion, is there a position that you would like for them to sign other than kicker? Because kicker is the one position that you can see, obviously, them bringing a guy in for competition especially. But is there another position where you guys would like at least one more body at it?
I mean, yes. If he is agreeable to sign for a not crazy salary, I would love to add Anthony Barr to this team. And I mean, I know for a fact that that's a name that they've talked about. That's probably why he's on my mind. Yeah.
I think the fans want, and they probably are expecting me to say, but I think the fans want J.C. Treader.
The center? Yeah.
But I just don't, if you're installing right now. But he's an interesting case because his whole stance is we don't need off season. We don't need an off season program, and he's trying to get all the teams to adopt that. So there's no way he's going to sign with anyone and go into their off season. I mean, he doesn't believe that it's happening. So his agent's probably like, all right, we're going to sign with whoever. I just don't think the Cowboys are going to go that route. I mean, I think that they're thinking Biotish. We've developed young lineman. We're going to develop him some more, and so I don't think that one works.
And that's, I mean, I'm not ready to say Josh Ball, Matt Waletzko, and maybe Tyler Smith are the insurance options at tackle, but the options are not wonderful. I guess Daryl Williams. Daryl Williams is a guy that I would be interested in. I think Dwayne Brown retired. I mean, he's 36 years old anyway.
Something's going to happen at receiver, though. I think.
Unless you're willing to sign Julio, the list does not inspire me, to be honest. I guess Will Fuller's still out there. Emmanuel Sanders is 35 years old. Cole Beasley, Cole Beasley, no thank you. I'm sorry. Why do we need to? Nobody asked for a sequel to that movie.
That would cause some drama for sure.
So
some attention on the media.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Other than Julio Jones and Will Fuller, I don't know.
Let me ask you something completely different than this, but this is something that I battle with mentally a lot, just trying to create some kind of understanding of a lot of things that happen here with the team. And something that drives me nuts in my mind is certain things in general that you see us talking about a lot. They're like, oh, they're bad at this, or they need to do this or do that. There are many, many things that we can point out. But they don't see it that way. Or at least what they do doesn't reflect any kind of recognition of the things that outside people talk about a lot. A lot of the media, a lot of ourselves. And there are very rare cases where they are right. For example, Terrence Steele. That's something that we killed him for it and we killed them for it. But it ended up turning out well last year. But in general, that doesn't tend to be the case. And the Cowboys put themselves in certain positions of kind of their backs against the wall in a way, because for example, free agency, they always wait kind of towards the end. They think they got what they need and all that. And then we keep seeing problems or holes or whatever where there needs to be some kind of change, but we don't see them making it. So I'm just, it drives me nuts because I'm trying to understand, okay, what is it that they're seeing? And I'm talking as a general term overall of all the issues that they still have on the team. But I can't find any kind of understanding of what do they see that we don't see.
Well, I think you sort of answered it there. What if they would have brought in an offensive tackle, a veteran, 2 years ago, and maybe they would have helped win a game or two. But Terrence Steele wouldn't be the guy that's replacing La'el Collins. So I think that the fear, and this is not just the Cowboys, this is every team. It's balancing. You've got 91 players on this roster. They got 91 guys here, or they have 90, actually. They have 90 guys, and they want to make sure that they're all getting an opportunity to do what they signed them to do. And so you can't just knee-jerk every single time and go, well, they don't have a wide receiver that I've ever heard of, so what are they doing? This is the time to wait and let these young guys develop. But let these guys develop, though. What if Dontario Drummond's a really good player? What if he's a good player? You're not going to know that if you sign Julio Jones and Will Fuller and all this stuff. And, you're trying to develop. Yes, you have your top guys, but I just think they're trying to let this roster breathe a little bit. And I'm not defending them for. I think that's the reason. That's why they do it. They want to develop these young guys. They're invested in it.
But with every year, there's a transition where this guy develops, but then you got to lose this other guy?
I'm going to say the same thing as Nick, but I'm going to say it less nice. First of all, they think they're the smartest people in the room, as all front offices do. Everybody that does this thinks they know better. And like I always joke, like, when they find out that they're wrong, they just reframe it and like it's a bad idea until it's a good idea. Like they were patting themselves on the back for trading for Amari Cooper because it was a smart thing to do. It was a problem that they created, but they just reframe it until it's a good. Like they're like, oh man, good on us for he's 24 years old. He's already been to a Pro Bowl. We're so smart for doing this deal. It's like, well, why'd you put yourself in that position? But that's what happens. They think they're the smartest people in the room. On top of that, Jerry Jones gives this away every year. He's an eternal optimist. And I think the decisions of the front office are framed in that context. What did Jerry Jones say after the draft? He was like, well, we didn't know what we had in Micah at this time last year, and look what he did. And we think we're going to get that again. He might be right. He could totally be right. But the decision making is framed by a sense of glass half full optimism that's like, well, you don't even know what we got in the tank. Zach Martin, Tyler Smith is Zach Martin 2.0.
You think?
And they could be right, but they're not always right. And so when they don't hit on that sense of optimism, it creates problems. That's my answer.
I've never been digging for oil, but I imagine if you've ever hit, then you're always up.
And I've never done it either, but I imagine you kind of have to approach it with the attitude of like the next one's the moneymaker, baby. Right. This is the one. So yeah, I mean it makes sense, but once if you've sunk 15 wells and all 15 of them have been dry, that ain't good either. That's my answer is optimism and then the normal sense of intellectual superiority that all front offices have in common.
Well, we'll let them have time to show us this year again, every year. But I mean, when you talk about the law of, what is it that you, probability?
Yeah, law of averages.
Law of averages, law of probability.
See, that's the difference. The difference between me and them is they're like, we did this last year. That means we can do it again. And I'm like, you did that last year. That probably means you're not going to see it again.
Yeah, it's going to be hard.
We'll see who's right.
No, we'll see. We'll see what kind of talent develop, and we'll see what kind of happens next week on minicamp. Especially at tight end. Let's see some of the players, what they do, and what Dalton Schultz decides to do, whether show up or not. That'll be news. Either way, thank you so much, guys, for joining in. Thank you for Nick Inman, David Hellman, and what?
Don't miss next week's show. It's our last one for the off season, so don't miss it.
Yeah, very important.
It'll be a very important show. Don't miss it.
News breaking.
Hell yeah.
I'm just saying, don't miss the show. It's our last one.
All right. Thank you guys so much. This has been The Break on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?